Shalom again here, Daniel, One Love Caravan. Yes, we go deeper into science, yeah, because if you understand, how the, like, as above, so below, right? As above, so below, and also as it is in the big, yeah, in the big, it's also in the small, right? So, listen to this.
Jano, sanitary the hourglass and leak out the sand. Sanitary the hourglass and leak out the sand. When you split the atom, you this. That's right. Yeah. When you split the atom, you this. Dry man. Yeah.
When you
When
split
you
the
magnify
atom,
your electromagnetic polarization, you built a whole world upon the electron. Built a whole world upon the negative charges. That's right. Yeah. Well, solitary. I am not the back and when you build the atom, and when you split the atom, you this. When you split the atom, yeah, that's right, you this. Yeah. Solitary, I am I got dip, I got the Babylon I show. Babylon I show. Lion I, come on. What is the mathematical formula? What is the enigma that keep on eluding your vision? Lalibela Zagwe Kingdom. Genesis, Genesis. I am the stone cut from the mountain without hands. Evading your equilibrium and your calibration. Sanitary rest of man go deep and go down. When you split it, when you split the atom, you this. Build your whole world upon the electron. That's right. Build your whole world upon the negative charge in your vision. Sanitary rest of man go deep and go. When you split the atom, you this. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, that was a full cup.
a full cup, he said. Yeah, he said it's a full cup, right? So again, this is one Benjamin singing, and yeah, midnight, the band, give thanks. A full cup, a full cup. Here we go again. So here we go. What he's actually talking about, right? He's talking about the atom. And he's saying when you split the atom, if you split the atom, you destroy man, right? So this is, and he says, yeah, that you built a whole system on the negative, yeah, charge. So what is all about? Okay, easy to understand, actually very easy. Okay, so again they build a system, all this, here Newton, these people now, they build a system, right? The periodic tabella, and anyhow, the informatic language is English, right? So that means you see who built the system, English people. And now this physics, yeah, even if you study electricity, yeah. Okay, if you study electricity, again, we start with what one Benjamin was saying. He said they based they named the whole field after the negative charge. What is all about? It is about that, again, the proton, yeah, is positively charged. The electron is negatively charged, right? So the atom now, right? The atom. Okay, just to understand what, for example, what our good brother Bruno Gröning, yeah, Bruno Gröning said, Yeah, he said many things. Like here, he said, Sed buenos los unos con los otros, comprenderos y ayudaros, tal y como cada uno sepa hacerlo. So Bruno Gröning was, a follower of the Christ, yeah. But Bruno Gröning also had this technological understanding, yeah, like no one else. Because if you understand the spirit world, yeah, if you understand yourself, right, as existence, yeah, only like that you can understand technology, because we're talking about reality, right? So again, the atom now, it has it is, again, this is like this, the nucleus, right? And it's protons and neutrons, and the proton, then it's positively charged and the electron negatively, right? So the whole field of the science, electronics, yeah, electricity, they named it after the electron and not after the proton, because if you would name it after the proton, it would called proticity or something like that. I already talked about that. So they put already the negativity there. They put everything in a negative, again, light, yeah. So again, the technology nowadays, everything, this camera, this thing, everything, computer, sound system, that's it, you name it, everything is based on electricity, right? So we could also use other technologies instead of electricity. Yeah? We talked about that, because we could use other source of energy like steam, heat, pressure, etc., etc. But we use electricity, and we use the AC, the alternate current. Yeah, there's AC, DC, right? So they made out of the DC, what is nature, right? Nature is just DC. It's direct. It's plus minus. Yeah, it has the North Pole and it has the South Pole. So the tension between these poles, right? It's what is making the tension, again, the energy. You're giving energy, right? So there is exchange. There is of protons, and so how the atom is working, again, it's like the solar system is working, all these things. Again, I have here our roots letter from 2020, and we would talk here also about again, hemp, cannabis, health, health. Then it is about forest fires, alchemy, alchemy, So again, alchemy, we talk here about alchemy, and we talk about manipulation of energy. Okay, CERN again, CERN. Actually, yeah, artificial intelligence, yeah. Microchip is like Ubuntu Algarve Liberation Movement, yes. And also food, education, history, yeah. And what more? Human rights. All right. So that's what we are dealing with. So again, here is the science, like the science part. Ciencia, it's just meaning knowledge, right? So everything is science, right? So, but we talk about alchemy, right? Chemie, physics, like even the electricity part. Who invented the AC thing? Like there is this French scientist, yeah, the Hippolyte Pixie. I think even in this book is talking about that. But anyhow, I know it, so I don't have to look in the book. Hippolyte Pixie, and he had like a machine with magnets, yeah, and you could like steer, yeah, and it would the positive and the negative, yeah, would go like that, so that would alter the current, yeah, so that would the plus and the minus would change. So this was the first time in the beginnings of the 1800s there, like, yeah, the first AC, okay. But this has to do with yeah, physics, then physics, yeah, again, because electricity, it's just physics, yeah, physics. And this was a Faraday, again, Faraday is this English scientist, a physician who yeah, who discovered that water is made out of two gases, for example, and many other things. Yeah, so this is the evolution of it. Then also Nikola Tesla comes in there, yeah, and all these things. So some 200 years ago, yeah, some 200 years ago, they invented the AC, yeah, and the alternate current. And yeah, there's also this rock band AC/DC, right? Yeah. So actually, the most of the people, I think, they don't even understand this, yeah, because yeah, if you don't study, like if you don't work as an electrician, why should you know that? You know, you just plug the USB, you plug whatever, and it works. You know, it's like the smartphone. It does really someone understand this technology? Like, don't feel offended, right? But if should we use a technology that we don't know how it works? I don't think so. So, you know, I think we should like imagine, you know, this smartphone now. It's more dangerous than a gun. You know, because again, the bullet in the gun, the bullet in the press. You know, now everyone with the TikTok and all these things, it can be very dangerous, yeah. And if you give just a gun to a child, you know, and you don't even explain, like I told you already, in Switzerland, already, yeah, children shot their old parents and all this because the guns just laying around, yeah. And in Ceuta also, many people, they just get shot like accidentally because children playing with guns, right? And in other places in the world, yeah, small children having Kalashnikovs and drinking alcohol and shooting around, yeah. So it's very dangerous, right? So it's the same with the smartphone. You give this smartphone to the people and they don't know even how it works, yeah. They don't know how electricity works. They don't know how the microchip works. They don't know the history, where it's coming from, what kind of people invented it, and with what purpose. Okay. So again, they invent this AC current, and they invent this. They name it electricity after the negative, yeah, and then they push it. That everything is based on that. That means nowadays there is no steam train like the locomotive. How does it call the choo-choo train? You know, not anymore. Also no Dampfschiff, you know, no steam ships anymore. And again, no zeppelins, no airships flying around. And everything what uses power nowadays, it's like to have to plug it in. Everything you plug it to the system, you know. And even now the electric cars, you plug it, but you just cannot plug it just on, you know. It's not just a normal plug, a simple plug for the car now. It's like a gas station, yeah. It's like electricity station, and for that you have to pay a lot, right? You cannot just charge your car in your home. You know, like, watch out, you know, because again, it's a monopoly, yeah. They want to keep the monopoly, because we could easily drive around again with free energy, you know, like, not being dependent on them and on petrol and on electricity, really. It is this kind of electricity they want to push now. Electric car, again, the lithium. What is about all the lithium? The lithium. What is about the lithium you need for these batteries? I also have a lithium battery there, and I know, okay, after some years it's broken anyway. Like, my lithium battery, it's already broken, but it works because it's on the solar panel, yeah. But this is not sustainable at all, right? So, not sustainable at all. So it's doomed. The whole system, the whole infrastructure is doomed, yeah. And this can scientifically be proven. We can calculate this, yeah. Because it's easy to understand. The resources coming from Africa, right? Without these resources, impossible. The war going on, listen now. We want to go, actually, look, here is the Central African Republic, yeah? Here is, again, Sudan, South Sudan, look at this. Okay, Uganda, Kenya, you know, Zaire is, it's Congo, Congo. So here is the equator, right? Here around, you know, you have all the resources needed for this technology. You know, all the resources is concentrated on here. Not necessarily here. There's a lot of diamonds as well, and it's petrol, and you know, and there is also a lot of petrol here and a lot of things. But around here, the equator, and you know, it's because we're talking about special materials, you know, special materials. Because I by myself, as you can see, you know, I worked, I learned this stuff. I worked as a salesman in a tool shop, right? So we would sell all these machines, drills, and all this with the batteries. At the time, the lithium, it came out when I made my school there. The first lithium machines for drilling and stuff came, you know. So before it was the heavy, the lead thing, the heavy, you know, heavy batteries, like in the car, the lead batteries, and also nickel, cadmium, and all this other stuff. And then they came the lithium, yeah, and there was, wow, lithium ion, and you know, it was saying, oh, there's no memory effect, and it's charging so fast, and it's very light, yeah, because lithium is the lightest metal, right? And the lead is the heaviest. So if you work with solar, you know, you would have to need lithium. Now it's new lithium technology coming out, and every time, you know, they are working on new things, yeah. So every year new technology, but it's not sustainable technology, yeah. This new technology the system put you, it's not sustainable technology, right? So we have, for example, here, look at this, the artificial intelligence. Again, it's saying about, we're talking here about years ago, yeah, manipulation of energy that is being done in various parts of the world by agents of the system of domination and control, involves being of others' density, beings of other densities in order to keep the human being trapped in the physical dimension. This kind of stuff we're talking about. What is it all about? Yeah, what is it all about here? Artificial intelligence, you know? What is it all about, you know? And it's saying here, well, come look at it. Artificial intelligence are beings whose bodies are made in an artificial way. That is, they are not born naturally, but were made by other beings. Until not too so long ago, artificial intelligence worked mechanically, such as the golem story in the Jewish tradition, which is a clay monster, or even the Pinocchio story made by the carpenter, you know, whatever. So it is all about that there is these stories that mechanically, not digital, just mechanic. You make a Pinocchio, a puppet, and you somehow a spirit goes inside. Somehow a jinn goes inside, right? In the Islamic tradition, there is the jinn. It's called the jinns, yeah. So yeah. Anyhow, so a spirit goes into a machine, yeah, and the machine works, yeah, and thinks, yeah. So artificial intelligence, right? So again, my grandfather worked on that. I showed you this, and the robotic, right? So wow, you know, this is a deep thing, you know. You have to see how science look at this, the Morse, you know, telecommunication, and then here glass fiber, and the evolution of science, telecommunication. Look at this time, there were still the pigeons, and there were still the afterwards. Then there were, you know, you have to operator and these things, yeah. So how technology evolved, and who is the inventors of it? How and why and when, etc. They invented it, you know, very important, because if you know that, again, the pyramids and things like Lalibela and things like, you know, the megalithic structures in the world, you know, so how is this, how that was done, you know, it was also technology. I think everything here is technology, you know. You just have to understand what technology is actually meaning, right? So it's like biology. Now it comes biology, because you have to go into the science of the word, yeah. Again, because look, Juan Benjamin, right, is a scientist, right, as well, and he have written books. Actually, he telling about the science and the witchcraft also in the language, in the English language, that you can actually, there is a backward spell everywhere, right? Backward, you can read it backwards, and it has so many meanings, yeah. You have to study this as well, and you see there is a science there, right? Of, again, how you put a whole belief system, right? How you put a whole again, science is meaning knowledge, yeah, it's meaning ciencia, right? And if you have the focus in the negative, yeah, again, in conquering, like killing people, conquering, being, you know, yeah, actually you're a bloodsucker, you're a vampire, yeah, you are a parasite, yeah, because you're based on the negative, and you go everywhere and you just take and you suck, and it's a competition of who is, you know, who steals more, who is, you know, who kills more, all this, you know. Instead be based of the positive and help each other, right? So again, we study this and you see, okay, there were real good scientists, yeah, and real good science also, and this all got repressed by the negative, yeah. So again, when we study all these things, yeah, very interesting that, yeah, intelligence, again, intelligence Like these things work, you know, how a microphone works, how does you know, how a photograph works, even how a photograph works, how a vinyl works, how all these things are possible. Very interesting. And you know, the artificial intelligence now, for sure there must be spirits. If not, it cannot be intelligent, right? So if you use now a technology that we do not really understand, it's a problem. And if we consider, right, that this kind of technology they use nowadays, it's bringing the biggest unbalance, you know, because again, you must steal all these things. For that, you must make war, and yeah, it's doomed. Yeah, it's doomed. So, what are we gonna do now? You know. So what we're gonna do now? Yeah, we have to actually to not end up like this one, you know, to not end up like this one. Yeah, but more again, like other like these people, you know, like they would know much more, you know, than the people nowadays, because again, all get based on the negative. So glorified is the negative. And wait a second, I can, because I have here an interesting book, you know, with all this picture. This book here I'm showing you, the picture, yeah. Okay, so you know, there's the world wonders as well. There's the world wonders, and there is like this technological miracles, you know, like there is these things they cannot really explain, you know, and how this works, right? But there is people they can explain. So if we study transport, if we study, you know, here we go, for example, you know, this was a vapor car, you know, this was a, you know, a train. That they're saying the last vapor train here, right? The last vapor train. And how is then coming to this, you know, to this thing and to this, and you know, like how this, why, you know, why? Because they have to keep the monopoly, right? So again, we have here artificial intelligence, we have here, we're talking about education, history, right? And the science, yeah? So again, we have the opportunity now to go more into the why, you know, and more into understanding why we use, yeah, the negative, if we can use the positive, you know, why we do use something which actually it's not the best solution, you know. And if you, why we wanna go on with that, you know, we should actually want to know how to improve, you know. Actually, we should always want to improve the things, right? So again, if we consider that you know, the atom, and I showed you in the beginning the music, I saying when you split the atom again, you destroy, yeah. So the energy now produced, yeah, in Europe, it's coming actually from the atomic centers, yeah. They do yeah, it's not sustainable. It's like in Japan, yeah. In Japan, all the electricity is coming from this atomic generators, yeah, from splitting atoms, right? This is a lot of radioactive toxic waste, yeah. So what do they do with the waste, with the radioactive toxic waste? Yeah, it's like in Simpsons, you can it's like really like that. So they used to put it in the sea, just in barrels and in the sea. Why? Because the sea, also the salt neutralizes the radioactivity. Nowadays, also in Switzerland, and I remember we used to go with, again, the education in Switzerland. So they bring you to the atomic power plant, and they show you how good it is, and they explain you as a child. You go with the school, you go there, and they make a whole big propaganda program, yeah, to teach you that this is good. It's not dangerous at all, and it's sustainable. It's all good. Yeah, we put the radioactive waste in the mountains. They say, yeah, this is good. This old salt mines, you know, and because the salt neutralizes, so it's all actually the mountains. Yeah, in Switzerland again, this full of bunkers. The mountains is all military bases, yeah, and it's full of gold, and it's full of servers, computers, and it's also full of atomic waste, yeah, and tunnels and all these things. So this is destroying nature, right? And what is the purpose of it? The purpose of it, again, it's to control. It's that it's also just spirits, yeah, who are behind that, and they want to continue the dominion, yeah. But as soon as people wake up to the facts, their dominion, it's over, you know, because it's up to us, you know. So again, they just want to keep this dominion, yeah, and keep you dumb, yeah, that you don't understand how this all works. So we don't have to break it down, yeah, and they have to show you that actually it's all just an imitation, you know. Everything, look at the evolution of, again, of for example, music. Yeah, music here. What is the music? The instruments. Again, the all the whole education now. The whole education. Let's go about music, technology, whatever. What we learn in school, it's not the real stuff, right? So we have to bring the real stuff to the people, right? The real education about, like, what is this all about? It's to do good. It's to help humanity and not to destroy humanity. So the music industry, yeah, the system took over the music, you know, they took over everything, and they use it for themselves, for manipulation, yeah. But now we have to take it back because it's our thing, yeah. It's not them, yeah. They steal, and then they turn it around and they use it for them, right? So again, we have the patent, how should I say? You know what I mean? Okay, so again, it's our right to use the technology, yeah, which has been discovered by our ancestors, yeah, which was the idea was to apply for the good of humanity, yeah. So many things, suppressed things, yeah. Why should we still go on and let ourselves be suppressed? You know, we should now really rebel and say, wait a second. Science shows that. If science shows that and this and that, you know, and hey, you know what I mean? So there is things we have to really more go deeper into, you know, like the atom, again, like the names of it. If you study the etymology as well, again, why things called like that, yeah? Why things called like that, and why not, you know, why is there always the negative there, you know? So that's also, we have to take the witchcraft out of the language, yeah, because the language is also a science, yeah, and the scripture as well, you know. Again, it's all put now in the negative, yeah. How people talk in the Western world, it's so negative, yeah. It's in the language is a blasphemy, you know. In the language you have cursing everywhere. You have you curse everywhere, everyone here in the Western languages, because it's based on Roman Babylonian thinking, yeah. A friend of mine, yeah, he told me this, the Hebrew, yeah, the Hebrew and the alphabet as well is to connect with the divine, yeah, for example. Then the Greek is made to make a theater, yeah, and the language, yeah, and the Roman language, the Latin, it's made to make war, yeah, veni vidi vici, you conquer, yeah, so a war language. So now we speak, like we write everywhere, even in Africa, only Ethiopia, it's the only country in Africa which has an official African language, like the alphabet, you know, part of the Arabic. But Arabic again, Arabic is also an African language, eh? But you know, at the moment, you know, we have so many African countries and they write in Latin because for sure they got colonized by England, France, Portugal, you know. So that means this Latin characters as well. This is it's to dumb you down, right? And also another science we have the mathematics, yeah, the mathematics, yeah. We have to reinvent, like not reinvent. We have to just go discover again what is the real mathematics and how they took over, you know, like they took over that. That's why Juan Benjamin, even in his lyrics, many times, yeah, and I will show you this also, another opportunity. But he's saying the zero, it is not like they changed this. The zero is a circle, and it's not meaning nothing. It's meaning a circle, you know. And that's already there. It's the basis. They're already spoiled, right? So we have to go back before they spoiled it, and have to see what's the original. Everywhere you have to point when it get turned around. When it got corrupted, and then we have to understand when it got corrupted, you know, and why and who, you know. So again, the science of like of this reality, you know, because again, Bruno Gröning, he could explain everything, very simple. And Bruno Gröning said, I only say one word, he said, Atom. Das ist die menschliche Kunst und die satanische Macht. So he said that the atom is the human art and the satanic power. The human art and the satanic power. So again, alchemy is changing the atoms, yeah. And what is the first? Actually, we do alchemy every day. It's cooking. We cook, we boil, we steam, we water. We're making a tea. It's alchemy, yeah. Again, cooking in general. That's why it's this thing, like the human being does something, yeah, which is alchemy. It's called cooking, yeah. No animal does this, right? No animal here on this planet cooks his food and prepare. This is alchemy. This is the first one. Everyone would do this. And out of that cooking food, yeah, you're already separating things. You're already refining things, but in a natural kind of way. You not push it too far. You not push it too far, you know. You just, you know, in the laws of balance, right? If you push it too far, you go out of balance, and then you already do the negative, you know, the disorder, the inequity, right? But from there it comes the alchemy, from cooking, because the chemi, you know, the chemics, and then all this, now the laboratory. Nowadays, everything made in a laboratory, and like extracting everything and separating everything, and then put it on the market, on the stock market, everything refined, and then buy it again and sell it. Like the whole system, this whole thing, it's actually quite new, because this technology, the industrial revolution and all these things, why did this happen in the first place? Yeah, we have to really study history, right? So again, technology can be used much better in the way that it's sustainable, right? So look like this. The honeybees, again, there is the whole science, and I just can encourage everyone again to listen to the Honorable Priest Isaac from the Priest Isaac Institute of Holistic Knowledge, yeah, because actually, yeah, we should listen to the specialists, yeah, when it goes to African mystics and this, yes, but yeah, anyhow, we have the science here again, Lalibela made by the angels and all these things, man. How is this all possible? You know, how is this possible that the bee can fly? How is this possible that the airplane can fly? If they do with this calculus, with this, they invented the system to calculate everything. Yes, and they teach us these formulas and all these things, but it's not true. It's fake. Yeah, because really, if you calculate the things, then it should not work. It should not work. So why does it work? You know, why does it work if it should not, according your calculations? So it's already a hypocrisy there. This the hive here, this hexagonal form, has already levitation energy. Beside of again, the bee has this sound, who has levitation energy. There is also the geometry, who has levitation energy. And yeah, we have to study really water. Water, for example, because we are made of water. Why does the water, again, coming out on the top of the mountain? Because it's levitation energy. And why, again, why does things like body fluids, why do they move? Yeah, yeah. And again, life force, levitation energy. Like energy is everywhere. Yeah, and energy now. Again, that's like one Benjamin says in the lyrics many times. Science declared matter was never created nor destroyed. Science says that. So what science is that? We will have to be very carefully. Very carefully. So you know what I mean? So wait a second, you know, like, okay, the matrix is built up. The matrix is built up, yeah? And this is binary code and all these things, 0 and 1 and cha 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 cha. So wait a second, I would say, again, the original tradition, the original science, yes, now be revealed, yeah, because again, how come that I can tell you these things? How can I know all these things? Seriously, how can I know all these things? And some 10 years ago, 20 years ago, you know, like, I could not know these things, you know, like, even if there were people talking about that, you know, but it would not, you know, it would not stay, because the time was not ripe, you understand? Then you go through, again, awakenings, because you remember, in the end you remember, because again, it's all stored, yeah, in the Akashic record, yeah, it's all stored in the book of life, everything, yeah, we experienced in other lives, everything, it's stored. So they put us through traumatization into amnesia, yeah, and that's why we cannot remember. But as soon as you unlock these blockages, yeah, you can again remember, yeah, and then suddenly, you know, let's say things make totally sense, yeah. So again, since I tell you just what is my experience, like it really is with this alignment of the calendar, yeah, 2012, the Maya calendar and all these things, yeah, really watch it, how consciousness has been risen or whatever since 2012, yeah. I can talk about myself, yeah, because I seen the evolution, and I can also see the evolution, like in the movement, for example, in Rastafari, yeah, I can see the evolution. Let's say also in the system, again, in the system since 2012. Like again, because things are revealed, things being revealed, and people rebelling against the system, right? And more, So no way that this can be stopped again. The last words again from Bruno Gröning were to everyone to go back to nature. The große Umkehr. It means actually go back where we come from. So independently, again, how independently where are you living now? Where are you now? Yeah. Originally we came all from the tropics. Originally we all came from Africa, right? And at least, spiritually, we have to go back there, If you don't have the possibility to physically go there, at least we have spiritually go back there, because that's where we came from, right? So again, it's the big exodus, it's the big movement, to go back to the roots, and then we will also discover, the real science, because again, as creation, is, let's say, we have the abilities, right, of the creator, so we can create, right? So this whole creation, it is when came this dimension, into existence, let's say the atom, because this dimension now has the atoms, right? This is the matter, that's the matter, again, matter. Outside of, if you're in the dream world, maybe there is not real matter, right? But it does also matter what happened there, but it's not the same. So this is a creation, if these building blocks, it's a creation, and we have the ability of that. Exactly this ability we have, to change atoms with our will, So this is this whole thing of remote, influencing all this science. So, thank you very much for watching again, as we go step by step deeper into depths of science and technology, because again, this is also, again, this is actually how we thousands of years went around the globe, thousands of years, knowing about the currents and the winds, and also invoking the winds, and also doing with music, with vibration, with drums. You can see, I was in Ghana, I remember there was this fisherman ship at the coast. It was fisherman's. And this was a ship, like a small boat, I don't know how, like 15 meters or something. And it was full of people. It was full, and they had drums, and they were rowing. And it's like you can change. You can change atoms. The weather. Listen, the weather now. The weather is our consciousness. Anyhow, the weather. The wind, the wind in Hebrew, the wind is the same word for spirit, So we have influence. So we make you make a rain dance, and it starts to rain. So if you're on a boat with your sailing boat, and you invoke the wind to bring you somewhere, So if you do this in together, in an egregore, that you can know, that you can understand that in ancient Egypt, the pharaohs and these people, they would go to Ireland and all these places, very quickly, exactly going in these streams, So we have already winds and streams in the sea, right? And we have thermal heat coming from the ground, like the geysers coming up. you know, there's already heating system, you know, and cooling system and everything. It's already here for free, right? Like the food and all these things. So education, the key for to freedom and health. Again, thank you very much for watching. Stay blessed and interested in the science, and see you soon. One Love Caravan, Daniel, big up.